flea
infested home. And she's trying to tell me this is the vision.
Wait,
this was not the vision.
With the roof kind of sinking in.
The roof sinking in.
With cottage cheese
ceilings.
Yeah. That's the acoustic.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
She's painting. She says we just need to water the grass.
We just need to water because the grass was yellow. The grass was yellow.
Oh yeah, the grass was yellow. There was no white picket fence, and the grass was yellow.
Wow.
So she was pushing me right along.
But then so then you got that single family home. And then the grass was eventually green. Yes. Right? And then you fixed it up. Your sweat equity kicked in because you were used to this by now.
I'm used to it. And, and after that, we started going horizontal. We started, buying some other property. We kind of made that home base.
Yes.
We didn't want to jump. I said, at least give me 2 years here, please.
Right.
At least let me grow some roots.
Right.
And so we started going horizontal. We actually bought a property on Locust, and we bought them kind of all over. But one in particular I remember is because it was a 1-bedroom. It was on Locust, and a lot of people didn't like that property. Mm-hmm. So we went and bought that property. And I bring this one into the fold because you can't exclude anyone. We actually received money from our gardener to help us with this property, and we went on a joint venture together.
Wow.
So once you start, acquiring property, and maybe you refinance, and you want to start looking at other options as well. If you're short a little bit, you can look at other resources. Be careful, be smart.
Right.
Because I could tell you some horror stories as well, and
That's
hurdles and pitfalls. But our gardener, which I didn't know had that money.
Right.
Took us to his house, and he had a lot of money there.
Right.
And we ended up buying a house in Long Beach on Locust, and we fixed that up, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. We bought it for $65,000, and the agent at the time that was trying to sell the property inside our office, he couldn't sell it, and so we bought it. We fixed it up, and we went into a partnership with our gardener. And we sold it for $110,000.
Wow!
I believe we put $10,000 into that property.
Amazing.
And we sold it for $110,000 at the time. So
now you guys do the math. Okay.
Yeah, and I say that to not try to impress anybody, but just to impress upon people that this stuff is real. What I'm telling you is real, and we've done it. We don't know everything, but we've seen a lot.
That's right.
We've seen a lot, and we're always a work in progress.
That's right.
And we're here to help you. Grow your portfolio and avoid hurdles and pitfalls that we've been through.
Exactly.
That some people say they're your friends, and they're not.
Exactly.
And as I mentioned, during that whole process, we were preparing for a wedding.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
And so with that wedding, and all of my friends were very upset with me. They were very angry because they wanted us to have this big, grand wedding.
Right.
And we had gone and looked at the Hilton and all these places, and they wanted $50,000
for this grand wedding.
So I said to Abraham, I love you, but what I would rather do is we're going to take our investment money that we're making off of these income properties, and we're going to go buy 2 more properties.
Okay.
So I had the book.
Right.
So we were buying properties,
right.
And we flew to Hawaii because we had already had a trip to go there. And we went to Hawaii, and we got married there, and it was lovely.
Right.
But it wasn't it was a very quiet, quaint, private wedding.
Right.
But it wasn't the big $50,000 plus $100,000 wedding. But we had 2 income properties that we had just purchased, and we kept them for about a year or 2. We turned around and sold them, and again, we made probably $110 off of that one, the same ones during the marriage, getting married, and then we bought another income property, and we turned around, and that one we did flip instead of holding on to it.
Uh-huh.
We purchased it, and we put it back. We put about $5,000 into it to get it up to par.
Right.
And we turned around and we sold it. Our profit margin at that time was $110,000.
Wow.
So we kept doing it over and over again.
Right.
So I told him, I said, and we're still together. So I said, the thing is, we could have went and had this big grand wedding, and we'll still be looking around now trying to figure out how we're going to pay for it.
That's right.
So, I will be spending our investment money and paying for a wedding that we were, on a roll of buying investment properties.
Exactly.
So it all worked out.
Because you had the investment bug.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. You're listening to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. I am Miss Charliene, and we tune in every Friday at lunchtime to get these great investment and wealth building tips.
Yes. I want to add something, Charliene. One of the things you mentioned about commercial property.
Yes.
One of the things you want to do also, I want to give you a quick formula. So when you're looking at commercial property, you can take a snapshot.
Right.
For the listeners out there, you can write this down. It's called the GRM, the gross multiplier.
That's right.
You need to know that. It just gives you a quick snapshot of the performance of the property. Right. So your gross multiplier. So I'm going to give you an example. I'll give you the formula first. If you had a house or a multifamily, a 5 or 6 unit, you're buying it for, say, $1 million. And then the gross income on that is $100,000 a year. So that should, when you divide the million into the 100, it should come out to 10.
Right.
Right. So 10 times is the gross multiplier.
Right.
That's a simple,
easy
math to show you how the property is doing. So you take that gross multiplier, and you need to kind of figure out in the area, what are the gross multipliers for that area?
Right.
So if the average gross multiplier is 10, and you find a property that the gross multiplier is 8, you really need to look at the one that says 8.
8.
Because that tells you that number 8 is a reflection of the rents in relationship to the actual property purchase price.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
So that means there's cash flow there. The bottom line is tell you there's cash flow there.
That's right.
Right? So so just keep that as a rule of thumb. It's simple. It's easy for you to start looking at different properties and kind of assessing what's the value of that property.
I'd rather them call you.
I know. I want them to call me, and I want them to call my wife because we can help them go through that. But just giving them a snapshot of a formula. There's more to that. We can sit here and talk about cap rate and cash on cash.
Absolutely. And then all the programs that are available for down payments and all that.
Programs. Yes.
So give them your phone numbers again, please, because people are calling in if they want your phone number.
Okay. Yolanda Williams, and my phone number is 562-755-3123. 562-755-3123.
And Abraham Williams is 562-755-1602. That's 562-755-1602. And you can reach us by email at the letter Y, kellywilliams@kw.com. The letter Y, kellywilliams@kw.com.
And for that Kelly, sometimes people spell it with a K-E-L-L-E-Y, but it's a Y, initial Y, and then Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y, Williams, W-I-L-L-I-A-M-S, at kw.com.
Okay. Great information, because people are tweeting and asking for, who are these guys? We want to know, okay? And so also in 1 to 4 units, I'd like to bring this up as a lender. In 1 to 4 units, you can get an FHA loan and put as little down as 3.5%. And I think that's something people don't know. And when you're getting into multiple properties, speaking to a professional, and that's why I said, we can give the gross multiplier again so people kind of get it. But you want to talk to a professional. You want to get together with, and they're not going to charge you to talk to you. This is free stuff. When I pre-qualify people for a loan, I'm not charging them to pre-qualify them. I'm getting them ready to purchase, and in your case, when you're sitting down talking to people, you're prepping them so that they can purchase. You're not charging them for this consultation.
No charge.
Right? This is free of charge. Anyone who wants to charge you for this information, you want to think twice about dealing with them, because they are supposed to educate you. They're supposed to give you the tools you need to make your purchases. So give us a gross multiplier again for people who have gotten past the point of the 1 to 4 units and they want to get to, you said the 5 units and above, right?
Yeah, you're dealing with the commercial property at that time. And again, the GRM, the gross multiplier, is just to give you a snapshot of how the property is performing. You need to understand that.
That's right.
Before you buy it. We can't buy off of emotion.
That's
Especially
right.
when you're dealing with commercial property. you're just held to a higher caliber.
Well, if to get a loan on a commercial property, it's a minimum of 25% down.
Yes.
And then they want to know what are the rents in that building? How is that building performing?
Yes.
So it can't be on emotion unless you're wealthy and just have the money to, just put out there, right?
Yes.
Just buy it cash. And why would you do that if it's not performing?
Absolutely right.
So that gross multiplier is important.
Yeah, it is. So you can take at the value of the property, and the owner's asking $1 million for the property, and so you take $1 million, and if the gross income is $100,000 a year, we're just using simple math.
Right.
You take a million into 100, it should come out to 10.
Right.
So that means the gross multiplier for that property is 10.
It's 10.
Right. So you need to find out the average gross multiplier for the area.
Right.
And so if the average is 10 and you find one at 8, you need to really pay attention to the one that's at 8.
Okay.
Because that's telling you that the rents, the relationship of the rents compared to the purchase price, what they're asking,
right.
that there's cash flow there.
Okay.
Right. And we can go into more deeper detail. If you give us a call, we can sit down and go up and have a consultation. Just sit down and meet and just talk, because we can get into cap rates and other things to really dig deeper into the investment property.
Absolutely. This has been great. This is great. Yolanda?
I was going to say, too, and also the one thing that you do not want to get in your way is your fear.
Absolutely. And I thank you for bringing that up, because I mention fear every week during my program at some point, because fear is crippling. Mm-hmm. And you have to just walk past that fear mm-hmm. and just get into it. So you speak to fear, because we talk about this.
Yes. When you think about numbers, or when you
right.
think about, oh, my God, I lived in my house for XYZ years, and where am I going to get the money, to move on to buy an income property? Well, you're sitting on it.
That's right.
So if you just come, have a talk with us, give us a call, and we'll be able to walk you through those fears and let you know what your property is currently worth and how we can help you. And Charliine can also talk to you in regards to this, to help you, to let you know what equity you have in your home that can help you to go to the next property.
That's right.
And
what loans are available for you. Yeah.
And you're talking to me, one of the most fearful persons at the time, as
right.
far as buying.
Right.
Really, it was something that I had to overcome, because it wasn't taught in my household,
right.
and I didn't understand.
Right.
And so, once you learn that you're the head and not the tail.
That's right.
Right? Okay.
That's
you
right.
learn these things, and you start moving
right.
forward, and you get one a property underneath your belt, you get 2, you get 3.
That's right.
Then you start
confidence.
really understanding. Your confidence literally
it
goes
does
through
rise.
the roof.
That's right.
Right, and then you realize you can help other people do the same who are where you were.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about.
And that's what it's all about.
So we step up, we pull up.
That's right. And step up and pull up. I like that. So please, you guys, give them a call if you're interested. We got to wrap up right here, and I just want them to get that phone number and contact information out one more time before we go.
Sure.
What is
Again,
it?
Yolanda Williams. That phone number is 562-755-3123. 562-755-3123.
And Abraham Williams, 562-755-1602.
Thank you. You're listening to Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and this is Miss Charliine. I want to thank you guys for being on the show. This has been so educational. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Thank you. Yes, and I also want you to know that next week we're going to have someone come on and talk to us about college loans. So look forward to that.